How's it going, guys? And welcome back to the Beyond the Arc podcast. And before we get started, let's cast your mind back about 11-ish months ago, the 2nd of August to be precise. Myself and Sully sat down for the first time ever to record an episode of Beyond the Arc. It was the first time I'd ever done Beyond the Arc with Sully, with a guest. And the first ever episode that we did together was ranking every single NBA teams' performances throughout the 2020 through 21 season. Well, fast forward a year, and we're running it back.
We're bringing it
Welcome,
back.
welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to us ranking every single NBA team season. Technically from worst to best, but we're kind of just putting them in a tier list. That's what this podcast is all about today. It feels like a very long time since the season actually ended. We're actually in the middle of Summer League now.
Yeah.
But loads of stuff's been happening, holidays and free agency. This video's just been pushed back and back and back and back. But we've finally got some time now. We're going to be sitting here over the next hour or so, just waffling about all things NBA last season. So I think we're ready. Are we ready to get back to some rankings, some tier lists?
Most definitely.
So if you guys don't know, this is what we did last year, and we ranked each team in 5 tiers. Now, looking back over the tiers last year, it's crazy to see how the landscape of the NBA changed in one whole year.
It's crazy.
We had New York in the first tier last year.
And they're staying in the first. No, I'm just playing.
Yeah, no. Well, there's been some stinky teams this year that stayed stinky last year. There's been some teams that had a poor year last year who have improved this year. So we will all go through them, and hopefully we will have a relatively decently tiered list. You know, hopefully we're not going to be causing some controversy, hopefully.
I don't know. I feel like we will probably upset one or two people still.
Well,
But
as long as we agree, that's fine by me. I don't, as long as we don't cause any controversy between us two, I'm all right. So I think, without further ado, though, before we get started, make sure you're liking and subscribing onto the YouTube. Make sure you're commenting down below any videos that you want to see from us throughout the off season. Like I say, it's Summer League now, but the season itself will actually start for another 3 odd months. So we got a lot of off season basketball to cover. So let us know what you guys want to see in the future. If you're listening on any other podcast platform, make sure you're sharing it out and doing all that good stuff. So without further ado, you guys should now be able to see the tier list around about now. Hopefully. Again, we haven't done a tier list since the start of the new year when we did like every team's franchise player ranked in a tier list.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
So hopefully, if I remember, this is how I did it before. So hopefully we're good. We're good. I can't see Sully at the moment. So again, we're just gonna hope for the best, and we'll be all right. So you guys can see the tiers right now. Sully doesn't actually know what the tiers are. So I think I'll go through the tiers right now for Sully and for you guys at home. So the top tier is the return of So Inspirational. Steph Curry's had a great year. So I feel like it's only right that we put So Inspirational as the top tier again. In the second tier, we got teams that had a double decent year. The double decent tier. Teams that are almost there, but again, they haven't hit the proper inspirational heights this year, but they've had a decent year, so we'll put them in the second tier if they've done well. In the middle tier, it's just they were right. It was an alright year. Again, that's just middle of the pack. Kind of boring, but some teams just, they don't wow everyone, but they're not awful. So that's why they go. The fourth tier, so the second to last tier, are teams that you would eat a steak the night before playing them. I mean, you could put someone like Phoenix in there, but
you could put Chris Paul in there, like
you could just put Phoenix straight in there because they have Chris Paul. But let's be honest, Phoenix didn't have that terrible of a season. So, but Patrick Beverley might want Phoenix putting in there. Phoenix might not get put in there, but you never know. So teams that you would eat a steak before playing in, that's the fourth tier. And then fifth tier, the return of tank season. You're not just eating a steak the night before playing this team. You're eating a full 5-course meal. drinking anything that you want, doing anything you want the night before this because you just know that you're going to beat them because they're just tanking. They've got nothing to play for. They're just looking to the draft to improve their team. So I think without any further ado, should we just get straight into the first team?
Let's do it.
So, again, in fact, before we get into the first team, I'll let you guys know that obviously this is based off of how well the team has done, but it's also based off of expectations going into the season. The Los Angeles Lakers didn't have that good of a season anyway, but the fact that everyone expected them to do so well, we might actually potentially see the Lakers in tank season. Who actually knows? We'll get to them in due course. So yeah, I think before we get to the Lakers though, we've got Atlanta first. The Atlanta Hawks, obviously, last season had such a good year, got to the Eastern Conference Finals this year. Not so well, still made the playoffs, but everyone was expecting better from them, though.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, with Atlanta, after seeing them come out from the finals, we thought they're gonna try something special, and I would personally say it was just like the season was okay in terms of them as a team. It was probably as much as they could ask for this year with the competition in the East so high.
Yeah, definitely. Now, this is interesting because this is another thing that you don't know. I've kind of like brainstormed where I personally think every single team should go into.
Okay.
So it'd be interesting to see where we conflict and where we
Because
like
you
agree
already
with.
know where everyone's going.
Yeah, I don't know where everyone's going
Well,
because
like, as in where you,
yeah,
yeah,
this is where I think we could go. But obviously,
yeah.
we will have disagreements, we will have conversations, and we might persuade each other to go with somewhere else. Now, I actually thought that because of how well Atlanta did last year, I think a lot of people were expecting them to do almost the same. And to be fair, they didn't get into the playoffs immediately. They had to go through the play-in, and even when they
Yeah,
got into the playoffs, Trae Young dropped stinkers night
yeah.
in, night out. I
I,
think I think a was I is about right though. I feel like yes, people were expecting good from them, but again, it's not the end of the world that something bad happened next season. If they have as poor of a season as they did this year with DeJounte Murray in the backcourt, this
because
is where you put them
expectations are
further
so
down.
much higher now already.
Yeah. So I think maybe a was I is good for this year, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
All right. Boston. I think it's so inspirational for them.
It has to be so inspirational. Like,
They were close to knocking Golden State off of their pedestal. Like I said, they went 2-1 up in that finals. We made videos about how they could potentially win the NBA finals, but obviously it didn't work out for them. They lost 4-2 in the end in the finals. But I think any team that gets to the final,
you have to,
given
yeah. Like,
given that no one was expecting them to kind of do it.
I mean, like we all I've said many times, like before All Star break, Boston were not a good team at all, and even then, I remember seeing like I think it was the ESPN or something where like the best teams in the East, like they had them ranked to win the chip, or if they make the finals. It still had Boston fairly high, but like it was like in the middle. But really, no one expected them to get there like pre All Star break, and me and you definitely didn't. I remember talking about them all that time ago, and like none of us would have known. And obviously with Coach Udoka's first year, like you have to just really tip your hat and say like that was genuinely inspirational to see like that could happen with all these young guys as well. So it has to be like there's no other option, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I completely agree. Now, the main question is, though, do you reckon they might be able to run it back next year?
It'll be tough, but I don't see why they wouldn't give it their best chance. I'll be honest.
Yeah. I mean, just it's always tough to get to the finals no matter where you are. But I feel
Yeah.
like now the Celtics have themselves Malcolm Brogdon.
Mm,
Obviously, we're not doing too much looking through to the next season, but obviously stuff's happened already.
yeah.
But yeah, they've got to be Eastern favourites in my opinion, especially after this year.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Obviously, like depending on how trades finish and everything, we might be saying something different, but they're definitely your favorites regardless of what happens. Like they're still up there. Like you still think they're gonna finish top three by the end of the regular season. probably
Yeah.
make the conference finals.
Yeah.
You know, like I won't be surprised if they did that. They have the hunger now. They have the experience. They know what it's like to get there and get far as well. Game 6. So
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they tried to run it back another finals.
No, yeah, me too. Me too. So we've got them in so inspirational. Now moving on next, and I feel like instead of the Lakers, this is who I should have maybe put as the example. Brooklyn Nets, who they had a better season than the Lakers, but everyone was still expecting them to do really well. Last
100%.
season, Brooklyn kind of did the same thing almost. They were expected to walk the league. They didn't do amazingly. We ended up putting them in the middle tier last year. This year, technically, they did worse. They didn't get out of the first round. They got swept by Boston. Um, and if I'm going to be honest with you, if KD took a night off because of load management or if he was injured, I would be eating so much steak before playing the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, I mean, if it was pre Kyrie coming back, then most definitely you're eating steak before playing Brooklyn. Because I mean, like, who is their main guy? Andre Drummond. I don't know about that. Like, you know, or back then anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
Honestly, and I do like obviously I like KD, I like Kyrie, but like we're not massive fans of the Nets. But really, like especially when Kyrie came back, a lot of us thought, okay, now we're gonna see the Nets cook like we thought we were gonna see them, and they got swept in the
But yeah,
first.
other than that first night, Marcus Smart was eating steak.
Marcus Smart was eating steak. JT ate some last second steak in that first game. I I I think that's a. I don't want to say it, but I think it was a tank season.
A tank!
It was a tank. They got swept in the first round. They should have never
No.
got. Come on, this is KD, Kyrie, two of the best players in the league, and they got swept in the first round.
They still got playoffs. Like, I was thinking I'd say steak, and you'd be like, nah, we could put them at the end of was I.
No, no, but they just about made like didn't like no. It was they came fifth in the league as well, so it's not like they were like amazing. They came. I'm sure they came fifth in the league. I might
No,
be wrong.
seventh, mate.
Seventh, exactly. Oh my days, they came seventh as well. Wow. Yeah, they came through in the play-in. This is the Brooklyn Nets with
Yeah, but
KD.
we put them third tier for doing almost the exact same last year.
Yeah, but last year they had like Kyrie wasn't playing that much and everything, and we could have, and they still did okay. Like they still got far. Like this is a tank season.
Uh, I mean, look, we said at the start we weren't going to try and cause controversy. We're what, 10 minutes in now?
It was. I want to know how. Like, tell me in what way it wasn't a tank. In two of the best players in the league, yeah,
Okay,
together in a team
okay.
against. And at the time, no one thought Boston were going to beat them, or like not no one thought, but
No one
definitely no
thought a
one thought it was
sweep.
going to be a
No one
sweep.
thought a sweep. You know what? I'm putting them there. I'm putting them tank. Just for you. Just for you. Well, we'll move on. And I mean, you like to big up this team so much, so I'm expecting you to put the Charlotte Hornets in so inspirational. But I'm gonna tell you, you're not doing that. We're not putting Charlotte in so inspirational.
No, no, no,
LaMelo Ball might have got All Star this year, but that doesn't mean that Charlotte are in so inspirational.
no. They had a truthfully they just had like a semi okay year.
Yeah,
It
you
wasn't
know
special.
when I was saying at the start, I was like the middle tier. It's teams that didn't have an awful year, but didn't have the greatest year.
Yeah, and also there wasn't many expectations for Charlotte as well. No one thought they
No,
were going to make the playoffs or anything like that.
no.
You never know, like off season, what they might do, because they
Yeah,
are building like a team to
yeah,
try and do these things. Obviously, we know they got a nice pickup in the draft and everything. Who knows for next year? But they just had an eye year.
yeah,
Lamelo
yeah,
himself had a really good year. Obviously, we saw him get All Star and everything for the first time. That was quite good, but it was alright.
yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't think there's any
Yeah,
argument with
no,
that. Yeah,
yeah, but
Chicago,
mm,
the Bulls.
I think it was. I think it's second tier.
Hey, we're agreeing so much
Yeah,
now.
fine. We can't
Brooklyn,
say inspirational because they got beat up in the first round.
yeah. I
If
just feel like this is what Bulls' first time back in the playoffs in what 4 or 5 years now.
yeah,
I feel like this isn't a make or break year as long as Zach stayed, which he has.
yeah,
So yeah, I think Chicago have probably not all it takes to. Well, I mean, they're going to run it back and get playoffs again next year. You'd hope, but
yeah,
they obviously don't really have what it takes yet to be that Boston level or that Golden State level of a team. So yeah,
yeah,
I'd say a double decent year due to kind of not really knowing what to expect. You know, with DeMar DeRozan and
definitely.
Zach LaVine, this is his first season winning.
Mm,
Um, Obviously, Vucevic playing the third role. No one really knew what to expect. It could have been amazing, and it could have crashed
completely.
and burned. But in
Yeah,
the end, I feel like we kind of found that medium, that positive, and yeah.
100%. And to be honest, I think if they ended up beating Bucks in the first round, I would have said that was inspirational because I don't
Oh
even
yeah,
think
definitely,
like
definitely.
because that would have been inspirational. Like, but second tier is still a really good like because like Chicago really did like surprise us all with the level that you guys were at last year, and you
Yeah,
never
definitely.
know. Off season, everything might work out well. I heard you say we were talking about you on KD, so
Hey, I think anyone would take KD.
definitely. I mean, except the Timberwolves, we saw that one, but
Oh yeah, that was funny. Yeah, that was hilarious. Um, Cleveland Cavaliers.
hmm, a
Uh,
double decent.
you think?
I think because they came into the play-in, right, but they got beat.
I
But
think if they'd have managed to secure playoffs, I'd completely agree with you.
okay,
But I feel like them just getting kicked out in the play-in, just falling at the final hurdle almost. They were
mm,
doing quite well early in the year.
yeah.
They're just kind of sinking down the table, the standings. I feel like if they'd have got the playoffs, I'd have put them in second tier. I feel like it's probably a top of third tier in my opinion. But
Yeah, okay, I'll agree with that one. And
yeah,
I just remember the way LeBron dunked on Kevin Love, so I was like, that cannot be second tier. I have to put that in the third one. Because
they were in double decent, and then LeBron posterized them down to the third
he
tier.
posterized his boy, no less. So he
Yeah,
had to,
definitely.
he put them down one. He's trying to climb up really because he knows how low they're going to be when it comes to them.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't really know how the Lakers can posterize the Cavs down when the Lakers are probably going to be nowhere near the Cavs. But it is what it is, isn't it? Dallas.
It has to
Interesting
be
one,
number
this.
two. It
You
has to
think
be.
number two. I put them number two as well. I'm just thinking, does them get into the
I
Western
mean,
Conference
it
final
could be number one as well, to be
give
honest.
them grounds for the number one tier? Yeah.
Because, I mean, they did push Golden State as well, kind of a little bit.
Yeah.
And, I mean, really no one thought it was going to be a conference finals for them.
Yeah. I'm thinking Luka Doncic himself is so inspirational,
Oh, yeah, most definitely.
but I feel like the Dallas Mavericks, maybe on a whole, are just double decent at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, either one you could argue for, to be honest. Like, I still think they had a really, really good year because it shocked a lot of people in the
Yeah.
end. Like, the business end of the season, they just clutched up and well, no, let's get it right. Luca clutched up and showed everyone that, like, he is the guy.
Yeah.
So, mm, I'll let you decide. Either one would make sense, but I'll let you. Where are we going to put them?
I'd put them in double decent in my opinion.
Okay.
But again, next season's going to be interesting for them to see if they can actually kick on and run it back to where they went and maybe go that one extra mile.
Definitely.
The Denver Nuggets. Nikola Jokic is so inspirational,
He is the most inspirational.
but I think without Jamal Murray, that team is I.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I mean, like, it was another early playoff, like, knockout for them. And
Another one, yeah, yeah.
the team that you now have the most paid player in the NBA, one of also the best players in the NBA, a really good number two player in the NBA. How are you still not progressing in the playoffs at all? It's like I don't know. Maybe they need LeBron or something because I want to see them do well, man. I want to see Jokic win like the way we saw Giannis win. I want
Yeah,
to
yeah,
see that for him too.
yeah, yeah.
But they
We
need,
just we need Jamal Murray to get back on the court and give them that little boost. I miss him play, man.
yeah,
It's been too long.
yeah, fully. I agree. Like sometimes you just miss good players, no matter where they play for. You just miss good players like these, like especially like players that they don't always get maybe the flowers that they deserve. Jamal Murray is definitely one of them. But we want to see that because I do want to see Denver at least like challenge for something a bit more than just a first round playoff beat next year. But
Yeah,
I mean, where are we putting them?
I,
I'm
I
kind of stumped.
I'm thinking
Yeah, I'll back that.
you're back in an eye. Better
Yeah.
season than Atlanta?
Nah,
Nah, all right. We'll put 'em behind Atlanta then. Detroit, and I think this is pretty unanimous, right?
yeah.
It's another tank for Detroit. Although Cade, if he
Cade had a
can
decent
shoot,
season.
if he can sort out his shooting percentages, he has what it takes to be the guy that just carries this team to 13th, maybe in the Eastern Conference. Which, to be fair, that's probably the highest that Detroit will finish since like 2019 or something. So
Yeah, that would be. I mean, that would be crazy. To be honest, like Cade's got it, man. Really, he's got it. I see him. I was gonna say taking that team somewhere, but when I say somewhere, it's not very far. But who knows if his loyalty lies with them? But
yeah, yeah. Jaden Ivey, is it that they picked up in the draft? I've seen a
yeah,
bit of him during the summer league. He's looking like he's going to be a decent pickup for them. But yeah, I feel it's definitely a tank season this year for Detroit. It's probably going to be a tank season next year for Detroit.
probably.
I feel sorry for them, man. It's just yeah,
Yeah, you don't like to just see like teams just be absolutely atrocious because it's just doesn't it lowers the competition and just balls things out sometimes.
yeah. So yeah, a tank season for Detroit. And then moving on to probably the most obvious one in the whole pick, Golden State.
You already know.
I mean, they have Steph Curry playing for them, and he's so inspirational. So
Exactly. So by that logic, everybody else is so inspirational on that team.
that's true. Yeah. So I mean, I'm just gonna put them there immediately. Talk to me about Golden State, and we'll probably make a TikTok off of this. How do you rate Golden State's chances? Sorry, I'll start again. How do you rate Golden State's chances of running it back to back?
I think they've got an amazing chance. Obviously, for those long standers of the podcast, I backed Golden State from the second the league started. I said they were going to do something amazing, and that they did. I think they have what it takes. Obviously, they've lost a few good players in free agency. We saw Gary Payton leave. That's. I personally thought that was quite bigger than everybody else thinks. I think that was quite big of a loss. I still think
Yeah.
they have what it takes to definitely make it to the conference finals and probably the finals again. Like Steph Curry still has, I think, I want to say he has one more chip left in him.
Yeah,
I hope so.
it will
Anyways.
be interesting because obviously, yes, they've got rid of Gary Payton and Otto Porter, um, and I think someone else. It's gone from my head, but it's the fact that they're now going to be bringing in their young players that were just fringe players last season and seeing if they can make the step up. You likes of Jonathan Kuminga, Moses Moody, James Wiseman played in the summer league yesterday.
James Wiseman, I know everybody's waiting for him to play. I'm waiting for him to play. Like, obviously, we now know Andrew Wiggins is going to be stepping it up like crazy after that
Yeah,
playoff run that he had. Like,
yeah.
hopefully,
Jordan
Kenny's going
Poole, Jordan
to.
Poole, and
Yeah,
Andrew Wiggins, free agents next season, so they're going to be wanting to perform out, try and get the bag.
yeah, potentially, or
Um,
maybe like catch a bigger bug elsewhere. But to do that, you need to
Exactly.
have a good year. Either way, I think all those guys are good. Like, if you're the champs, you wanna defend your title because it is your title, and I think they are gonna try their absolute hardest to do it. And I see them as I definitely see them getting to the finals. I'll be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I still think they're the best team in the West. Even if you put Kyrie Irving on that Lakers team, I still think that they're the best team in the West.
I can completely back that because the Lakers will still have Russell Westbrook.
Oh no, I think if Kyrie does end up going to
Yeah, Russ will probably get
Russ will
traded.
probably go. Russ will probably go the other way. But I feel like Golden State are just coached
Yeah.
amazingly. Like I have not been the biggest Steve Kerr fan because I've always been like, well, he's had Steph Curry on his team
Mm,
all the time, so of course he's gonna like win chips all the time. But I feel
mm.
like he is one of the best coaches
At the end of the
potentially in
day,
NBA history. I mean, he's got the rings for it.
100%. I mean, a lot of people will argue against that, but obviously that's what arguments for. But I think really like you can't always put it on the team because we've seen this year some amazing teams who have amazing players not fulfill their potential, and then two teams who, on paper, you wouldn't expect them to be better than a lot of the teams that they were better than, but they were. That's where you put it on the coaching. You look at
Yeah.
Boston. No one thought they were going to reach the finals.
No.
Coach Udoka, obviously you got to give your props to him. Steve Kerr, yeah, we've seen him win chips before, but prior to the last time we saw them even touch the finals was 2019, and so you like at that point the way he propelled the Warriors back to the top, you have to give him his flowers and his props because that is where elite coaching lies. And really, I think a lot of people underestimate the power of coaching and how much it is important to the game and to the team. Like, yeah, you can have good players, you can have the best players, but if they're being coached wrong, then they're not gonna win. You want
Yeah.
to like look at some of the greatest teams ever. Phil Jackson, we know, is probably the greatest coach in the history of the NBA. Coached the Chicago Bulls dynasty, but we like know Phil Jackson was the guy that took them there. It was like the team was amazing, and everyone says probably one of the best team, or if not the best team to ever play in the NBA. But coaches really like have a major influence and a big part in that. And really, I think a lot of NBA fans or just sport fans in general, they don't appreciate the importance of a coach. But Steve Kerr definitely, like, I think now has probably earned that respect that he definitely deserves, because this year everyone saw it like, yeah, this guy is the guy, like.
Yeah.
And props to him, really, and
Yeah.
to the whole Warriors team.
So give me a percent. Like, what percentage chance do you think Golden State have of going back to back?
90.
90.
90.
90. This guy's deluded. I'll go 45. I'll half
Straight
yours.
90. Straight 90.
Nah. Yeah.
When it happens, we're gonna in 1 year's time.
Doing
Actually,
it
no,
again.
in like 8 months, we're gonna put this clip on the video.
Yeah.
I'll say I should have said 100. That's what I'm gonna say. I should have said 100.
The Houston Rockets. We'll move on from Golden State. We'll talk about Houston. Could this be the first stake, or are you still thinking a tank for Houston this year?
No artistic. I would say tank because one, there was not many expectations. Two, there were not horrific like the Detroit Pistons. And
I
also,
I'm just respect Jalen Green as a player.
that's the thing. I like Jalen Green as well. Like, that's the
Yeah.
thing. I do like Jalen Green, and I think now, especially with the pickup they made in the draft,
Yeah.
I think
Jabari
that
Parker's looking nice.
I think they're gonna be decent next year. Like I think they're gonna have like a semi okay year. They might finish 10th or 9th or something. Maybe even touch play-ins. I don't know, but I'm really excited. Honestly, like the Houston Rockets, like since the Harden trade and everything, we know they've been on a crazy rebuild ever since, and I think it's starting to form slowly and steadily, but it's starting to form. I'm really
Yeah.
excited for
Yeah.
them. But in terms of the season just been, I would say Steak. I wouldn't put them in tank because I don't think they were as bad as
They
people
did.
thought
They
they
did ultimately have the worst record in the NBA, but you got to take advantage of the. You got to take an idea of the fact that they played in the West, so therefore played
Yeah,
more West teams. West is always way more competitive
100%.
further down than the
100%.
East is. So yeah, Detroit. I think I said it in the video that I did, the redrafting video. I look forward to a Houston game because they have a lot of young guns who are exciting. Other than Cade, I can't really think of anyone that the Pistons have that I'm looking forward to watching next season.
Yeah, 100%. I come back there as well.
So Houston into Steak, and we'll move on to Indiana, and it's another bit of a toss up between the bottom two in my opinion, but I don't really know where.
I'd say Steak, if I'm honest. I wouldn't
Yeah,
say it's a tank year because, like, again, with Houston, there wasn't many expectations. Whereas, like, other teams, they tanked because they weren't nowhere near what everyone thought they were going to be, or they were just so horrifically bad. Indiana were not so bad that we could say, yeah, the year was just atrocious, but they were not so good that we can't put them above the bottom two kind of thing. If
yeah.
you,
I think they've now maybe throughout the season weren't committing to the tank, but now they've got rid of Malcolm Brogdon, and you're seeing
yeah,
some reports about Miles Turner leaving shortly. Obviously, TJ Warren didn't play much last year, but he's left now to sign with the Nets. I think they've committed to the tank now, but throughout the season,
yeah,
obviously getting rid of Sabonis ain't great.
yeah,
But
yeah,
they've got Halliburton back, who I think, like, if he wants to be at Indiana, which I don't think he does, but if he wants to stay at Indiana, then yeah, I think they are going to be tanking now and trying to build around him. But I feel like throughout this season, it's probably just a stake, in my opinion.
yeah. I back that.
How many times do you think we're going to say the word stake this video?
Hmm. We'll both give like a prediction, and then whoever's right can the other person will pay for their steak if we ever
For
go
this,
there.
that's a shout. That's a shout.
How many
But I
times do you think
mean,
we've said it already? That's a real question. I think
too
about
many time. Too many times.
I think we'll say the word steak 39 times in this video.
Just 39. I think we've said it 39 times already
Oh,
between
do you
us.
think?
I think we've said it 39 times already.
So what's your prediction?
Ah, I think by the end of the video, it's got to be in the triple digits.
Damn. Okay, I might.
Because I'm looking at what we've got left, and I'm seeing a lot of stake.
Oh, I didn't even deep it like that. I'm changing my answer to 73.
Well, we'll have a prediction at the end. That will be the prediction to end all predictions. You know,
That's true. Actually,
we
I'm gonna
talk,
keep
we've
that
been
in
doing
check.
predictions all year, and I think I did win the predictions by like 3, but this prediction's worth like 10. This is the prediction to end all
Yeah, because this
predictions.
is massive. This is worth a stake. This is a stake is on the line here. This is crazy. This
The
is
stakes are high, you may say.
oh my days.
I'm ironic. Well, I mean, I digress. After that interlude, the LA clubs. We'll start with the Clippers though, before
Hmm.
before we go to the Lakers. I just think it's a night year because
I would back that.
let me. Well, I mean, you said you back it, but let me
Yeah,
talk to you
land it,
and
land it.
say no one was expecting Kawhi to come back this year.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, people might have been, but I feel like it wasn't really a case of, oh, the Clippers are going to be next level when Kawhi comes back
Yeah.
this season. I think they were still looking for next year to maybe crack on a little bit on top of that.
Yeah.
Um, and then obviously Paul George went down with an injury for most of the year too. So I feel like no one was really expecting the Clippers to do anything this year.
100%. Like,
It's very
to be honest, they did sometimes hold their own without PG. So
yeah,
you have to say like they weren't actually too bad.
yeah.
Like Reggie Jackson was quite nice here and there. So
I'm looking forward to seeing if they do get John Wall next year, and then if Kawhi comes back on top of that, it'll be interesting to see actually what they do next year.
yeah, I'm really excited for them next year, and also I'm excited to see because obviously we don't normally see like players come back off massive injuries and still be at the level they're at. The last time we saw Kawhi was 2020, so
Yes, it's been a while for Kawhi. It's been a while for John Wall. It's probably
been yeah
since
for both of them,
2022 for
yeah for
yeah
both of them about 2 years.
yeah. So
Um,
yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens there. I mean, I've always backed Paul George as one of the league's best players, so maybe I have a little bit of bias towards the Clippers because of that. But yeah, I feel it will be interesting to see what happens, especially if they do get John Wall next year.
yeah, no, but I back it though. I think season is good for them because, like
Yeah,
you said, no one expected Kawhi to come back.
yeah,
If he did,
so
that would have probably been one of the biggest shocks of the season.
yeah,
As well, like I said, PG was injured, and when he was, they weren't half bad. Like you wouldn't think, oh yeah, it's a steak night, kind of thing. But I want to say that they had an eye year, and
yeah, yeah,
they shouldn't even think like oh damn we had a this that because they weren't actually that bad really.
yeah. The Lakers.
I'm gonna let you start because
Well, I mean, I've got them in tank.
it's a tank year. It's a tank year.
I
We
think
thought they were gonna win the chip. We
yeah.
thought that. And if you don't believe me, go to our video where we were predicting the year. We thought the Lakers were gonna win the chip. We
You
looked at
thought
that.
Russell Westbrook was going to win MVP?
Did I say that?
I think you did.
Okay, don't watch the whole video. Just watch the part where we said Lakers are gonna win the chip, and then that's it. Don't watch anything else. Do not watch me say that I thought Russell Westbrook was gonna be MVP.
Yeah,
But we saw that starting five, or well, it wasn't a starting five, but we saw the five guys. We saw LeBron and Russ and AD and Carmelo and whoever else lined up together, and we were like, yeah, these guys are gonna win the chip. LeBron's gonna certify himself as the GOAT. Levels are gonna change. And although I do think LeBron himself had such a career-defining year in the sense that he's still 37 and he can still drop 50 points as a center, that's crazy that he actually did that.
yeah,
But the rest of them, I'm talking to you, Russell Westbrook. I don't care if he gets mad when people trash him. I've seen him on Twitter. He gets really upset. I don't care because if this and I used to back him all the time. Remember, some can back this. I used to back you all the time.
well, yeah, because you thought he was going to win MVP this year.
The point is, I used to back him all the time. And he just every time I used to back him, he used to prove me wrong, like so badly wrong. And I used to just think, what is this guy? It's like I think he was watching the podcast and purposely doing it. I don't think he likes me. And yeah, it was a tank season. Like we thought they were gonna win the chip, and they didn't even make the play in. Forget the playoffs, they didn't even make the play in.
Yeah, yeah, it's done out. Yeah,
It's a tank.
but again, makes them more interesting for next season. I'm looking forward to seeing how Darwin Ham does. I mean, you can't be much worse than Frank Vogel, in my opinion. But
I mean, yeah,
it'll be interesting to see if they do end up with Kyrie. It'll be
that would be amazing.
yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Westbrook's still there next season. So obviously, we've got a long way to go until the start of the season. We will obviously be interesting to see how the Lakers do. But okay, I asked you percentage wise for the Warriors going back to back. What is your percentage for the Lakers not making the playoffs again next year?
It depends what their team looks like. If they have the exact same team as they do right now, like 20% chance that they make the playoffs, and
Yeah,
that's
I
me
mean,
being
I was
generous.
gonna say like everything went wrong for them this season.
True, but
If they just ran it back now,
yeah, I mean, it because their main issue really is that AD gets injured a lot. I feel like if AD stayed healthy the whole year, they would have been able to block out the poorness of Westbrook, or maybe like he would have just become a little bit better with LeBron to his right and AD to his left, kind of thing. And I think that itself was a major problem. But obviously, you can't blame the season being bad on AD getting injured. Like you can't say AD it's your fault that they were bad because you got injured
yeah,
and broke your ankle. Like it's like you can't say that. But I mean, they obviously we know they need to fix something. If Kyrie does enter that team, I don't want to say it, but then I do feel like they could actually reach the finals.
Yeah, well, we were saying that about Brooklyn when Kyrie came to them, and look
But
where
this
they
is
are now.
Kyrie and LeBron. This is not Kyrie and KD. This is Kyrie and LeBron. And
All
we
right.
saw them carry the Cavs.
All right. That was the we'll obviously see. I don't even think it'll happen. I think
I don't think
it'll
so
only
either.
happen if KD leaves, and well, I mean, I don't even know if KD will leave. So
Yeah, I mean, if KD goes, then Kyrie will go. They'll just get
'cause
rid of
why
him.
why else would Kyrie have taken the player option?
He ain't got a clue in the world. That's why. He ain't got a
Exactly.
clue in the whole world.
I mean, maybe he just wants the bag, and respect to that because he hasn't been paid for like the last 2 years, so he probably
Yeah,
does
so
need
he
the bag.
needs a bag. He was like, please just give my money. And now he's like, wait, hold on. Now I can actually win instead of the money or the money and the win. But really, I think that if he goes Lakers, I will be really excited because I miss them prime times of like watching the NBA with him and LeBron in the Cavs and Game 7 and all of that. And I just think that'd be amazing. I don't know how he'd look in yellow though, but you never know. I guess we'll maybe find out.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we'll move on from the Lakers and we'll talk about Memphis now. And before you even say anything, I think it's top tier.
Yeah, it was so inspirational from Memphis.
Yeah,
Seeing them young squad without John Morant most of the time and still win consistently.
come second in a tough Western Conference, get
Very
to
tough
the
conference.
semi-finals, obviously knocked out by Golden State.
With their main guy John Morant injured as well. Like
Yeah, exactly.
it was so inspirational. And I mean what a year for them guys. We really do, like me and you especially, we show them the respect that they most definitely deserve. But like what a year for those guys. And you know like Desmond Bain especially, like getting the honorary um most improved player by like given to him by Ja obviously. And really like what a year for those guys. And I'm so excited
Yeah,
for them next year because I think that they're just going to become even better.
yeah. It'd be interesting to see if they do end up doing anything. Because off the top of my head, I don't think they have.
No, not really.
So it will be interesting to see actually what obviously they lost Kyle Anderson, but I don't think they've really added anyone yet. So it'd be
Yeah,
interesting to
they've
see
not
what
made
they
any
do.
big additions.
Maybe they'll just commit to just a full run back and just see how they do.
Yeah,
Obviously, with these young teams, you kind of afford to do that. Yeah.
yeah,
So it'd be
definitely.
interesting to see if they can reach the heights that they did this year. But we'll talk about last year. I respect them. Top tier in my opinion.
Yeah, facts.
Miami comes up next. Team that won out the East during the regular season were a 3-point shot from Jimmy Butler away from the finals. And I've heard a lot of people. Obviously, the smoke's kind of died down now. It has been almost a month since the NBA postseason actually ended. I've actually heard a lot of people come up to me and say, if Miami were in Boston's place, they'd have given Golden State a better, like a more even match.
I don't think so. Really, I don't think so. I can understand why people would think that, but I think in terms of like I think this final was really like both teams were very similar in their own way. They have both have great defense. Both, like, obviously we know Boston number one defense in the league. I think Golden State is two or three. They've got great scorers, you know, and a great team as a whole. I genuinely think like Boston and Golden State was like the perfect matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Me personally, like I
Mm-hmm.
said, the great defense, great scoring, everything put into play, great coaches, everything. Like I, I think Golden State would have smoked Miami. I'm not gonna lie. I, I honestly, if that happened, it would have been a 5 game, maybe even a sweep, but probably a 5 game. And I really believe that.
That's interesting. I do
No, no
I do kind of
disrespect.
agree with you in most places. I just feel like if it's a fully fit Miami, then yes. But I feel like Miami were struggling a lot with injuries and Bam not showing up.
Yeah,
I just feel like obviously Miami do have that true point guard in Kyle Lowry
yeah,
over Marcus Smart. Um, So I feel like they'd have not had as many turnovers as Boston
Yeah,
did
probably. Yeah,
in most games in that finals. But I feel like that wouldn't have really mattered in my opinion.
yeah. Honestly,
You'd have known that Jimmy Butler would have averaged about 40, but I feel like nobody else around him would have been able to.
it's like the whole thing. Like you were saying with Steph, you know he's gonna average 35, 40 a night, bar that one, literally that one game where he had a poor night. Every
Yeah,
other night he dropped 30 plus. It would have been the exact same with Jimmy. It would have been them two going toe to toe, but Golden State just have so much more depth. I think they would have absolutely smoked them. Like,
yeah.
to be honest, I think either way, no matter which one of them two teams are stepping in, Golden State were walking away with the chip. But I think Miami would not have given them a better game, I'll be honest, or a better series even.
All right. Well, in
But
my opinion, it's a
uh,
double decent year.
yeah, I come back in.
Second tier, probably like right at the top of that. Winning the conference.
Yeah, they still had a good year.
Yeah, they started good. Yeah,
I think we didn't appreciate how good they actually were in
yeah.
the year. Like especially me and you, we didn't rate them as
Yeah, don't
much
worry. Next year, I'll make sure to actually rate them properly. Hopefully.
unless they're just dropping stinkers every week. Then
Yeah, you never know. You never know. Well, we'll move on. Minnesota Timberwolves. Mr. Steak himself. Although technically it's not anymore, is it? He got traded, the
he's
poor
not.
guy. Imagine giving the Kobe when he won his fourth chip in the
In the
playing game,
play-in match,
and then
that's
they
what he
just
did.
sack him off for Rudy Gobert.
I mean, it is Rudy Gobert to be fair,
They already have a top level center.
but it's like Rudy Gobert though, isn't it? Like, it's,
I mean, Patrick Beverly probably thinks he's a better defender than Rudy Gobert.
he is a good defender, but he's not. He's not Rudy Gobert. He is a
Well,
good
we'll talk. We'll talk about We'll talk about Minnesota's season just gone. Again, they had a very good season. Ended up in that first round matchup against Memphis and took Memphis, gave them a good series.
Yeah, a great
I'd go as
series.
far as I'd go as far as to say it's a double decent year for them.
Yeah,
Like towards the end of a double decent year, but I feel
yeah.
like they've done better than was I because I don't think many people were expecting them to take the leap this quickly. I think people were expecting them to have
Giving
maybe
them a few years, kind of thing.
maybe just miss out on the playing this year, but Anthony Edwards is skyrocketing to stardom. Cat has had one of his best years, in my opinion, and I feel like with the addition of Rudy Gobert, putting Cat at the power forward position, it'll be interesting to see how that turns out for them. But I'm very looking forward to it.
I mean, they're gonna bully teams that have smaller players like
Yeah,
immensely.
yeah,
But yeah, I would back that double decent year. I mean,
yeah,
they in Minnesota now and everything, so that was the only thing. I feel like if they probably beat Memphis in the first round, that would have. I don't know, but
yeah. You never know. Anyway, yeah, I think a double decent year for Minnesota. Milwaukee's next, and Milwaukee's an interesting one
because
because
last year they were in
reigning
so
champs, a
yeah.
few people were expecting them to go back to back, and a conference semi-final exit ultimately it's a bit disappointing.
It's very disappointing. Like at the very least, you'd think they'd get to the conference finals or the finals or something like with arguably the best player in the league, like you know, two-time MVP. Like you're thinking, yeah, obviously they had the injury in the playoffs,
Yeah,
but you're still thinking they're one of the most like strongest teams in the league,
yeah, yeah.
strongest
If you
player.
have Giannis, you have a chance.
Yeah,
Is
like
the fact is the fact of life essentially. That should be the NBA's motto next year.
Giannis is winning.
Yeah, Giannis, Luca, LeBron. If you have any of them on your team, you have a chance.
Yeah, I'm honestly like I'm gonna let you start, and then
I
I'll
well, I
piggyback.
mean, we're looking at last season, and last season the Lakers were the reigning champs. and ultimately they had a bit of a disappointing year. They went out in the first round, and
Yeah.
we put them in the middle tier. So I think it's a middle tier year for Milwaukee too. I don't think you can put them any lower, but obviously it is underwhelming when your reigning champs
I can back
obviously
that
like
completely.
crash out before the conference finals. Really,
Yeah, not even like it's the semi-finals as well. Like they shouldn't have
yeah,
been crashing out.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
yeah,
can back it.
I'll put them in a night year.
Yeah,
New Orleans, the Pelicans. Look, I
they're
mean,
a double decent. Yeah, I'll be
yeah,
honest.
for that
Yeah,
playoff run alone, double decent in my opinion, and they're only going to get better next year. I'm so looking
yeah.
forward to seeing what they can do.
Honestly, literally, I'm so
Zion
hyped.
Zion signed the extension. He's back next year, except he might get injured again because it's Zion and he's made out of paper mache.
Which I've never seen a guy look that built, but is literally
Well, it's
like
because he's like 6'4", so like he's got all of this weight just landing on his small frame, so his knees are just in the bin.
he needs to lose some weight or something, man. He needs to.
Nah, no, but it's all muscle. It's not like
Well, he needs to lose some muscle. Then I don't know. He needs to lose something because I need to see Zion. You know how much I love this guy's game, and I
well,
think he's gonna be so good. But he needs to not break
yeah. Well,
because we
we've
saw
been
what CJ can do.
yeah, exactly. We've been seeing we've been seeing Zion's workouts preseason as well. He's looking like he's ready, in my opinion. But
Definitely.
it's a big risk from New Orleans to give a max contract to someone who's only played 80 games for you in 3 years.
Yeah,
So
that's my.
it'll be interesting to see how New Orleans do. But I'm really looking forward to seeing what they can do if they're fully fit. CJ Ingram and Zion with the likes of Alvarado and Herb Jones as well. It's gonna be a fun year in my opinion.
I definitely, I'm really, really excited for them. But
Yeah,
definitely, they're a double decent. Yeah, that playoff run was
yeah, this year.
amazing.
That playoff run, yeah. I feel like just for the playoff run alone, you have to put them in double decent.
Yeah, 100%.
New York, put them in so inspirational last season. I mean,
Do we have to
are
talk
we?
about it? Do we have to upset me like this?
But
Honestly, like, yeah, it was just a complete tank. Yeah, because
I think I'd still put them in stake in my opinion.
we can put the mistake, but really, I just because last year they had a good-ish year. They made the playoffs. You know,
Were people expecting the exact same this year though? Is the question.
they weren't expecting the exact same, but I want to say like, especially like in terms of my point of view, I thought that you know they were gonna still be decent, and they started off the year like well.
Hmm. And then Julius Randle forgot how to play basketball.
Yeah, man, Big Julie Jewel, man. I really and he's another guy. I backed him so much. I've not switched up on him yet though. I won't switch up yet,
All
but
right, okay, that's
I backed him so much this
give
year.
him another year. Give him another year.
Yeah, he gets next year. He definitely gets next year.
All right. Well, yeah, I feel like RJ Barrett, I'm a big fan of,
Yeah,
but other than the fact that he just can't finish at the rim for some reason, I think he shot like 45% on layups close to the rim. This man needs to learn to kick the ball out if he's getting smothered on layups. But I feel like I do rate RJ. I feel like it's one of the best shots of the season. His game winner against Boston.
yeah, man. RJ really is. He's the guy, man. I,
He's got high potential. And I feel like I'm looking forward to seeing him progress next season. Obviously, but obviously this season just gone. New York, in my opinion, many teams were eating steak before they played the Knicks.
especially like towards the second half of the season, everybody was eating steak, man.
Yeah, yeah, everyone was eating steak.
Yeah,
Were
even
Detroit potentially even eating steak before
no,
playing New York?
no. They were like, this is a chance to win. That's what they were doing. So they were
So
put,
they weren't eating steak; they were taking it seriously.
yeah. But I think even New York were probably just eating steak. They couldn't be bothered. They were like, forget it. So it's done. What can we do? Let's just go get some steak. That's what we'll do.
Yeah, yeah. Let's enjoy like New York, great place. Let's eat some steak.
Yeah, they probably have some good steak in New York. Like,
Yeah, yeah. OKC Thunder steak.
Yeah.
Steak.
Do you think it'll be Steak next year though?
I'm so looking for. Look, I mean, again, I talked about it in the redrafting video. I think Josh Giddey, I personally feel is my favorite player out of everyone in that draft class.
Yeah.
I feel like the potential that he has is mental, and obviously Sam Presti, he's great GM. He's got all of the young picks for OKC, and they're still committing to building around Shea as well, who's their all star pretty much. So yeah, I feel adding all of these young guns around Shea, who's not old himself, they will probably be stake next year, in my opinion. I feel like they're not going to make that jump up, but I feel like not many people are expecting anything from them. So maybe even if they manage to sneak in the play in, you could probably give them a tier above stake.
Yeah. Now, if they sneak in the play and you like, because that's so much better than we probably would expect them to be.
Yeah. Yeah,
Check. Let's
I'm
go.
looking forward to seeing how Giddy improves next year. Because obviously he can rebound, he can pass. His shooting ain't the best, so obviously we'll see what he does out there. He's
Mm,
been performing in the summer league though.
yeah.
Highlights I've seen. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what the Thunder can do.
Yeah.
But this season, it's very much a stake here in my
Definitely
opinion.
a Steak here.
Orlando, the worst team in the Eastern Conference. There's only really one.
There's literally like there's only one place that they can go.
I'm gonna stick him in tank right now.
Yeah.
Do we think that Paolo's gonna have a big year? Are Orlando gonna not finish bottom of the conference again?
There's only so much one guy can do though. I
He's
mean,
carrying him. He's carrying him in the
he
summer league
looks
though.
good in the summer league. I'm
Did you
not
see
gonna
that?
lie.
Did you see that game against the Kings that went to like sudden death second overtime?
Oh yeah. And then what was it like 6 points in like 3 seconds or so? Was that a
Oh yeah,
defeat?
the Kings scored like 6 points
Yeah,
in
that
3 seconds.
crazy. That was crazy. I was like, whoa, that's mad. But yeah, honestly,
In the end, Orlando won though.
I've been seeing a lot of like him, like clips of him and like Chet and like the main guys who have been making a lot of noise in the summer
Yeah,
league. I've been
yeah,
seeing a lot of that, and Paolo is looking good. I'm not gonna lie, but and a lot of people have been saying this. It's the summer league, although it's like it's a taster to what's going to be the NBA. Like you're not scoring 160 points per team in the NBA. Like,
yeah. You're not wrong
not,
there.
but I mean, obviously, like you can see he's got buckets, play basketball, but at the top level against the top teams,
It'll be interesting to see what he does. Yeah,
definitely. But I think obviously he can only make them better. Like it's impossible to make them worse. It's
yeah, yeah.
impossible. They could add me to the roster and they'll still get better.
I
And this is
mean,
me.
I'm so looking forward to next season because I think Paolo and Chet are probably they probably have the biggest egos out of any rookie I think I've ever seen.
Ever seen,
Like
ever.
genuinely, so it'd be so interesting to see how that Rookie of the Year battle goes through. And you know what? I just kind of want both of them not to win Rookie of the Year, just to
That
see
would be
what ends up
funny.
happening.
That would be funny. It
Like
will
someone like
probably. I
Jaden
mean,
Ivey or Jabari Smith ends up coming in and winning it.
I hope it's
That'd be
Jabari. I really like Jabari Smith to be honest, but I think them two are gonna have some crazy rivalry though,
yeah,
and I'm there for it, man. I'm really
yeah,
there
me
for it.
too, me too.
It looks good,
Yeah,
nice as well. I'm not gonna lie, he looks good, man.
yeah,
For a 7 footer, and he's like doing like um flipping. I don't even know, just draining shots, doing
yeah.
all of this, like behind the back, everything. I'm like, yo, who gave him all this sauce? Like it's crazy, pulling off the Luca knee, everything. I'm like, okay, okay, but I mean, it's looking fun. This next rookies draft class is looking quite exciting. I'm not
Yes,
gonna
yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how Paolo and Chet do.
lie.
But OKC in the stake and Orlando in the tank for
Yeah.
this past season, though. As we move on to Philadelphia, this is a very controversial one as well, in my opinion. What are you thinking?
Hmm. Hmm. It's a tough one.
I'm done backing Philly to win big anymore, you know. Although, one interesting thing that I saw apparently, James Harden is the first teammate of Joel Embiid's to average 20 points a game.
That's crazy.
And just think Joel's been in the league for a good, 6 years now?
6, 7 years or something like that.
Yeah.
2014, I think he entered
Yeah,
the league.
but he skipped a few years, didn't he?
Yeah,
2014, he got drafted in, but he skipped a few years. So, yeah, I mean, he's been in the league. This is probably, his seventh, maybe eighth year. And this is his first teammate that's averaged 20 points a game.
I think that just shows like one the reliance that they just have it, like they just
Yeah.
pass to Embiid, but now it's like pass to Embiid or Harden.
Yeah.
I don't know about their defense.
Respect to Harden for taking that 15 mil pay cut as well.
Yeah, man. You can
Like,
you can see he believes in
he
the dream.
seems committed to Philly, and that's what I'm kind of looking forward to seeing next year.
Yeah, but I mean, last year though, I don't know, Sam, because the thing is, when he stepped in, I'm like, okay, then now finally we're not gonna see Embiid cry in the playoffs. We're gonna see him get to the finals, and we didn't even see them get the conference finals.
No, second round exit in the end. Yeah,
Second round, man. Like, I don't know. You can look at it two completely different ways. Like, in my like point of view, I really saw them reaching the finals. They were nowhere near it. That sounds like a tank, but we can't give them tank.
no,
I don't know if we can. Maybe I don't know, but
no.
I'm gonna let you just decide, and then I'm gonna see if I back it or
I
not.
mean, I was thinking they got as far as Milwaukee, and Milwaukee had probably even higher expectations as the reigning champs, and we've put a middle tier, so I think it's a middle tier.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, we'll stick them next to Milwaukee in the middle tier, and they had an 8 year. It'll be
Yeah,
interesting to see what happens next year. They've got perennial winner PJ Tucker. Yes, they overpaid for him massively, but it'll be interesting. Harden taking that pay cut. He
mm.
probably does want to win here now, so maybe we'll actually see him put a bit of effort in.
Obviously, we saw Tyrese Maxey in the playoffs as well. He was
Yeah,
nice.
Tyrese Maxey, yeah. Harden. Embiid, obviously, he was dealing with injury all the way through the playoffs. So maybe if we get a healthy Embiid in the playoffs, we might
100%.
see
100%.
something interesting there.
Yeah, but I'll give them one more year of backing, and then after that, I'll never back them again. I swear.
Yeah, that's true. The process, it might be over.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. Like
Yeah,
I don't even know what else they can do. But
yeah. Phoenix Suns. Devin
mm,
Booker had a great year. That's inspirational. But I feel, again, it's what we
it's
expect. It's what
yeah,
the expectations that were placed on the Suns and how they failed to meet it. I mean, I think even at the start of the season, I was thinking Phoenix probably aren't going to be doing as well as they did last year. But during the regular season, when they did essentially better,
yeah. Like
just
then,
to
that's when you
then
thought, okay, they're
yeah,
definitely running it back. Everybody said it.
and then just in the end when they had a tough time knocking out the eighth seed, who weren't even the eighth seed during the regular season, and then
Mm,
also then getting knocked out by Dallas,
mm,
who hadn't reached the second round of the playoffs since 2011. So I
mm.
feel Phoenix probably should have had it in them to go one further. I just don't think it's going to happen for Chris Paul in the end now.
We don't need to say it though, man. We can think about it, but we don't have to say it.
Oh, sorry, man.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I give them one more attempt. Again, I'm giving a lot of people one more chance. Really, and him as well. I love
Right,
Chris
okay.
Paul. He will go down as like he will probably be a he's a future Hall of Famer definitely.
Yeah.
But he'll always be one of them. Could have done it, but didn't. Type.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? He's still playing. But I give them a double decent year.
You think double decent?
Only because of the regular season.
Okay. Yeah. No, you could be right there. I was thinking, finals last year. Milwaukee
That's
got to the
the thing.
finals last
That's
year.
why I'm like it's double decent, but it's like the end of it. So like all the teams are in front of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, that's fair. That's fair. You know, I was gonna put them in the I tier, but I think you've persuaded me otherwise. So yeah,
Only reason I can't give them the I, if they finish like third or fourth in the conference and then the playoff run, then we have to say I. But
yeah,
they had the best record in the NBA, so
yeah. Okay, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. Portland, easy tank in my opinion, but next season they have stuff in place
yeah, it's looking interesting for them.
for an interesting year. Dame Lillard is now the third most highest paid player in NBA history. It's crazy how the
Guys who
like
never play are getting
we've
paid like
no, but like it's the fact that we've never seen contracts worth over 250 mil ever been handed out, and three have been handed out in this offseason alone.
yeah, it's mad. That's what I
Bradley
mean.
Beal, Dame Lillard, Jokic, you're getting that bag.
Yeah,
Beal has committed to not winning ever again, and Lillard probably has done the same, in my opinion. But it'll be interesting to see what Portland can do next year with Jeremy Grant, with their 7th pick in the draft. Yeah,
yeah.
with getting Simons back, it'll be interesting to see what
I'm
actually happens
excited
with
for
them.
them. I mean, I miss the days where Portland would be good, man. Just straight up, like I miss the days that they were good. I
Yeah.
remember Dame time. It was so like just amazing, and now it's like Dame don't even know where his watch is. He lost. He lost his watch.
His clock's broken.
That's why
Yeah.
he's got the 250 mil, so he can buy a new watch.
He's
Dame
gonna buy a new clock, and then Dame Time's gonna be back.
Dame buy a watch.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
what.
he should be back next season, so we'll be interested to see what they're doing. But it is a tank this year, definitely.
It's a tank.
Sacramento.
It's a
I
tank.
mean, I really don't want to put them there. I feel so bad for them.
Yeah, they're a nice team. It's like one of those teams, like you just I don't think you can hate the Sacramento Kings.
They did their best to try and put together. They tried to get De'Aaron Fox under the star, but in doing that, they've sacked off all of their young players. I'd hate to be a Kings fan just because of how badly run their team is.
Yeah, I mean whoever's looking after that team, it's not going well, man.
No, it's not great,
And
is it?
nah, but like I said, it's one of them teams you can't hate them. But I mean, respect for trying, but really the trying was not. It wasn't really working. I'll be
Yeah.
honest.
I'm gonna
But
stick them in front of LA though because
yeah, I mean,
lol.
yeah, why? Like you know what? Screw them. I mean,
Why not? Why not?
yeah, the LA LeBrons did not
No,
find
they're
them.
in the bin. They're in the bin. We got four left. San Antonio, the Spurs. I'm thinking it's a juicy steak.
I don't.
They got to the play-in. They've accepted the tank now. It's like with the Pacers. They've accepted
Yeah,
the tank now. They've got rid of DeJounte Murray. They've accepted that they are tanking now, but they did get to the play-in last season, and I feel like you can't put a team. Well, I mean, we've got Brooklyn in tank actually, but no one was expecting the Spurs to do anything this year, and they still managed to
yeah,
get the
that's
play-in.
true. And they are still have Popovich. That's the thing.
Craig Popovich is going to coach all of these trash players. They're going to win the chip, and it's going to be the greatest thing we've ever seen. I mean, who's even on the Spurs now? Jakob Poeltl is going to become Shaq. I don't really know who else the Spurs have now. They don't
Honestly, I
have
don't know
Danilo
who plays for them.
Gallinari anymore. So
I don't know who plays for them. I can't name you one player. It's gone to my head and I'm dying. That's what it is. I can't name one San Antonio player.
yeah, so I mean, they are just a bit. They are there.
They are just in the league to fill up the team space.
And if it wasn't for them, there wouldn't be 30 teams in the league.
As soon as LeBron makes his team, then they're getting kicked out.
Yeah,
Actually,
exactly.
they'll probably kick out like the Kings or something.
Yeah, no, the Kings. At least the Spurs have history.
Yeah, the Kings is like they ain't the Kings. I don't. Their name is such a fraudulent name. Like
They ain't kings. They're like peasants.
the Sacramento like homeless people.
Oh, that's peak. We'll move on from that. The
If you're
Spurs.
from Sacramento and you're watching this, please subscribe. I'm sorry.
The Spurs. They're in stake, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
we'll give them the stake.
We'll give a middle stake.
Yeah.
In fact, I'll put him ahead of New York.
Wow. Why would you do that? Like,
Well, at least the Spurs got to the play-in. I feel like not even middle
yeah,
stick. They should be probably near top stick.
yeah. Like you'd have a steak, but you wouldn't get dessert if you were playing them.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. You would like not even like a big stick, just like
Yeah.
a medium stick, like a small stick.
Like just like a belly filler type thing, not
Yeah,
like a.
like a guilty steak. Like
Mm,
you don't want to eat the steak
at
because
the same time, it looks too nice, so you're like, I'm
but
gonna just quickly eat it
it is a
and then
nice
just chill
steak.
out. But like, Nick's is probably like, yeah, let's have steak, we'll have dessert, we'll have a few drinks, we'll play some 2K, watch a movie. That's what am I thinking?
Toronto, the Raptors. They were in tank season last year, but their
I think they really flipped it around, man.
rebuild, if you want to call it that, biggest air quotes rebuild is over.
It's
Scotty
still
Barnes,
quite a decent year, though.
yeah, decent, all right.
I mean, you were calling them dark horses in the playoff.
Yeah, I'm thinking a Raptors double decent year in my opinion.
I think so too, really.
I would say yeah, dark horses in the playoffs. They could have potentially knocked out the Sixers in my opinion. We could have been seeing the first 3-0 choke.
Yeah,
So
and
yeah, Raptors,
it was looking that way as well. Like,
yeah, middle of decent in my opinion.
mm, back it.
Penultimate team is the Utah Jazz. Now we can talk about Mr. Steak himself, I guess, Pat Bev.
Yeah,
Um,
missed the steak.
this is where he's playing. He's now never going to win again. Although Utah do seem committed to building around Donovan Mitchell now.
Yeah, I
If
mean, to
I'm
be honest,
Donovan Mitchell, I'm getting out of there as soon as I possibly can.
yeah, but I don't think they're definitely not letting that happen. Which I mean, free him, man, because I mean we know it's another first round one for them. But at least Patrick Beverly can say that he's probably gonna make the playoffs again because that's
Yeah,
like his whole mantra.
I
But
guess. Well, I'm gonna talk to you now. During the
yeah,
regular season, you're going to bed at a decent time against Utah, but once it gets to the playoffs, you're having all the steak that you possibly can eat.
you're going to a all you can eat steak place.
Yeah,
If it's playoffs,
it's a
Utah
buffet, like bottomless steak.
bottomless steak. I don't know if anyone does that, but we need to make that a thing first of all.
Yeah,
So we
but
need to.
this ain't just about the playoffs. This is about the whole season. So I feel like Utah middle tier. It's a night. Yeah,
I can definitely back it. But that's literally the only thing saving them from being a stake here, like we said, is the regular season because they are the regular season goats. But
they weren't even that. They weren't even amazing in the regular
they
season like they
weren't,
have
but
been
they're
recently.
still the
Though, so
regular season goats.
yeah, we still respect them in the regular season. But
Playoffs.
once it
At
gets
least
to
tonight
playoffs, it's
you can
it's
play them
it's
on Monday in the regular season. But if you're playing them on Tuesday in the playoffs, it's stake time.
it's steak time. And then finally, the final team, the Washington Wizards, and look, I mean, what will this video be without ending it with a steak team? In my opinion,
I feel like it just has to be a steak team. I mean, it depends if Bradley Beal's playing. You don't want to be in a full stomach steak against Bradley Beal. Bradley
yeah, that's
Beal.
true. I mean, before the season, before Bradley Beal got injured, you potentially putting them in the night year, but
If as soon as he's injured, it's
at the
steak time.
moment it's steak. But I'm very looking forward to seeing how Bradley Beal and Porzingis play together next year.
Honestly, I think this is. I don't know if it's unpopular or not. I think Bradley Beal does not care about basketball anymore. I think he's just gonna play for fun. He'll probably drop 20 points in the first two quarters and then just sit out for the remainder of the game. I wouldn't be surprised. I like. Come on, we saw him sign 250 mil contract. That's crazy. You know he don't care about basketball if he's signing that much at the Washington Wizards. Because if he's signing that much at the Wizards, he definitely could have got like 200 mil at a good team. Like, but he does not
Yeah,
care about basketball.
yeah, I guess. But I feel, you never know. I feel like if the Pacers end up doing all right,
Mm,
not the Pacers, the Wizards.
Wizards. On the off chance that he does care about basketball still, then I'm excited because him and Porzingis together could be very good.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Porzingis, we've seen him fail to do it with Luca, so it'd be interesting to see if he can do it with Beal. If it actually happens, maybe Porzingis is just never going to be able to be suited to be that second option. So I think next season, you've been saying you've been giving people a chance. I have never rated Porzingis ever since he went to Dallas. I've always said he's been detrimenting Luka. He's been making the team worse.
Mm.
This is his redemption year. If it ain't it, then Zingus Pingus out. Get him to China because he can't play in the NBA. Get him gone.
So you're giving him a chance?
I'll give him one. I'll give him one more year to show. But if the Wizards don't even get, if they can't even get the play in next year, then they're useless.
On paper, they should, but
They
like
should get to the play.
It depends if Beal does care about like the league and even trying to win. You never know. They might put a clause in his contract like if we get to the playoffs, we'll give you an extra cheeky $5 million. He might
Look,
want.
let's be honest. The Wizards managed to get to the playoffs not last season, season before with just Beal and Westbrook, and then a load of role players.
Yeah, but
So
Westbrook was good that year. That's the thing.
No, if you were saying now Beal and Westbrook, that's a playoff level. That's a playoff level backcourt. You got to be thinking that Porzingis and Beal is a playoff level duo too. So if it doesn't happen,
Yeah.
if it doesn't happen, get Porzingis out of the league. But in my opinion, it's a stake.
Beal's contract the fraud. He's robbing you.
We'll stick him behind New York in stake, and that will round off our end of season, 1 month after the season ends, tier list. Hopefully we haven't caused so much controversy. I'm just thinking about the Brooklyn Nets pick right now. I feel like everything else is relatively controversially free, in my opinion.
I don't
But
think
any negative comments to do with the Brooklyn pick, direct them at Sully because
at me. I'll have all of you.
Well,
I don't know if you've seen, but if any time on the TikTok page, if someone says something, I'm always at them straight away. Like if they just argue against the points I made in the video, I'm like, yeah, come chat to me. I'm right here. Straight away. I'm on it.
Yeah, well, we will see. These things make me more ready for next season. You know, I'm really looking forward to seeing how some teams, they might stay the same, they might move up, they might move drastically all the way back down, but you never know. So I guess that will just conclude this final ranking tier list for. This is technically our last video of the season before we move into the off season. Except we've done some off season stuff before, so
yeah,
it is what it is in the end. But at least we've got it out.
You, but we've said so much steak. I'm really hungry.
You're really, yeah. I mean, steak.
Oh, you're trying to get the numbers up. Is that what it is?
Yeah. Right. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess before I outro,
what's the steak prediction?
Let's get your steak predictions in. Are you going first or am I going first?
I'll let you go first because I'm nice.
All right, I'll go first. I feel that I did say that the steak count might be in triple digits. I think it'll just fall down. I think up until now, we'll stop it now. Yeah. Anytime we say steak from now, don't count.
Okay.
But I feel like it's been said 93 times.
I'm gonna stick
the last
with
hour and 18.
I'm gonna say 74. I'm gonna say 74. 73,
well,
but I added one.
The closest. I mean, I'm gonna have to watch this whole thing just to see how many times steak's been mentioned. I will watch it once, and if I mess up, I mess up. But if any of you guys,
we'll both watch it and we'll both add it, and then we'll see if we're right. And if we're not right, then we're gonna have to do it again. If someone who watches it, okay, wait. If there's anybody who's right here, watch the whole video. How are we gonna tell them? I was just gonna say count it all, but then at this point they'd have to go and watch the whole video again.
That's fair. That's true.
Okay, don't worry, guys. You don't have to stress about it.
Don't stress about it, man. We leave it to us. We got this.
And if you want to join us on steak night, then put it in the comments.
Let us know in the comments. Yeah, and also make sure that you guys are commenting down below and. Well, I mean, commenting down below on our YouTube, our Instagram, our TikTok, any of our socials, any requests for any videos that you guys want to see over the off season, make sure that you are leaving them down there. We will try and do as many of those videos as we possibly can over the next 3 months before the new season begins. But after an hour and 20 of talking about last year's NBA, finally putting that bookmark down on the first full NBA season that we've done be on the arc together. It's been a great year in my opinion.
It
Moving
has.
on, we'll move on to the off season now. But make sure that you guys are leaving a like on this video. Make sure that you're subscribing if you're watching on YouTube. Like I say, comment down below any feedback or anything that you want to see over the post season. And yeah, make sure you're sharing it out no matter what you're listening on. If you're listening on any other podcast platform, do that. Make sure you're following our social medias, they're in the description. And yeah, me and Sully will see you guys next week for some more Beyond the Arc post season action. Peace.